McCartney fans, and welcome to another edition of Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. We are a Paul McCartney talk show mainly dealing with the solo career of Paul McCartney. I'm one of your two co-hosts, Tom Hunyadi, and with me as always is my partner in crime, my backwards traveler. He is the one and only Andy Nichols. Andy, my friend, you're back home, you got some power, good to see you. How's it going, buddy?
It's been quite a week. Living on couches, friends, family, no power. A box set that came, and I couldn't even touch it for over a week. So I've been back a couple days, and it's nice to be home. And we're a little bit behind the eight ball with our Flaming Pie review and analysis, but Tom's had time to digest it, and I have too, as of just today, and just once. Tom's listened to it probably a few times. I gave it one playthrough, but we're ready to rock and roll and give you our hard-hitting analysis of this box, which we'll have quite a few things to say about.
Right, exactly. So So we're going to be going through the Flaming Pie archive box set. So here it is. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you guys have it by now, because I totally believe to really fully appreciate the box set, I really think it should be listened to with the box set. I mean, I know it's out there free for everybody on Spotify and everything, but being the physical media guys, people that we are, I think you really can only appreciate it when you have the box, don't you think? Totally agree.
Yeah. If you're at this level, like us, you need the physical format. There's just no doubt about it.
Right. Anyways, you got the power back. I'm happy that.
No power cuts. No more power cuts here, please.
Power cuts.
And I have no candles I can burn down low. So.
Yeah, but so luckily we had an episode in the hole that we were saving for that particular week, anyways. But unfortunately,
powerless week.
Right. But anyways, my friend, I'm happy that you're home and safe, and even though the hurricane kind of screwed things up.
Listen, all I did was lose a little power, and thankfully it wasn't much else. I know some people lost a lot more and stuff, so just count my blessings. A little electricity, we may do, but it's we get used to all of our technological gifts and stuff like that.
That's right. Well, you're safe and you're home, and that's really all that matters. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyways, but before we talk about the box, there was a little bit of news on July 20th. Eddie Klein, engineer for McCartney for a long time, probably since the early 80s, has passed away. I know he posted something that I haven't been able to find about Eddie Klein. But that being said, Eddie had worked at EMI, and I believe he plucked Eddie from EMI to help him build the studio that he has at Hog Hill Mill. Yeah, exactly. So, and we're going to talk about a little bit, especially in the World Tonight documentary. You do see Eddie a little bit, and then you see Eddie in a few pictures in the book.
Which the timing of his untimely passing, with coinciding with this book, I'm sure there's probably a decent number of fans out there who weren't even aware of Eddie Klein. So to see him featured in so many nice photographs in this package is nice.
Exactly. So, we'll get more on that in a little bit. But so this box set is the 13th in the box set. This is one of my favorite parts of the box right here. The sheet, that it comes with on the back.
It's like a cheat sheet.
It is a cheat sheet because it's pretty much tells you everything you got. You get in the box.
Yeah, it's the 13th. Wow. It seems 13th. Like the Band on the Run one was just like yesterday.
Well, for me, it seems like 10 years ago.
Oh, God.
I mean, so we got 13, in 10 years. It is a little slow moving at times, but I'm glad he's still doing this. I'm glad it's going to hopefully continue. Well, I mean, he's got to keep continuing this, don't you think? I mean, he's deep in this right now, so we need to get London Town and Back to the Egg. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But the box itself, what do you think about the box itself, Andy? I mean, it's a nice box.
Yeah, we touched upon this a little bit in our unboxing video. I think physically, and what it holds is tremendous. The packaging of it. You know, they are. It's starting, I guess, with Ram and going to Wings Over America. They've gotten a little more deluxe-y. Flowers in the
Right.
Dirt was a little bigger. They went away from the standard, just book
The
form, which
book.
is kind of what the
Right.
initial runs were. Band on the Run, McCartney 2, and then even Venus and Mars and Speed of Sound were a little on the skinny
Exactly.
side. And then they starting with Ram, they kind of got a little bit more boxy. Although Venus and Mars and Speed of Sound were after Ram, but
Correct.
it's
But then they went back to the box. I mean, it's funny how they went to the book again with Venus and Mars and Speed of Sound.
yeah. I mean, I thought Venus and Mars to me could have deserved this kind of treatment. It really could have.
Oh, absolutely. At least Venus and Mars, absolutely.
Speed of Sound, I don't think so because that album was just so rushed and done, and the lack of bonus material on that album
Right.
shows you. I mean, even with the vinyl, the fourth side is it's etching.
Right.
So. But Venus and Mars, I mean, but this one, I mean, they just get better and better with everything that his team does. Scott Roger and everybody over there. I mean,
Right.
everything's stamped on here. Just 100%. Just authentic, class made, well made. Everything put in it. Everything with the kitchen sink really. So I mean,
Right.
yes, you're paying a lot. It's $259 on Amazon, but you're getting what you pay for. It's not cheap to produce these things. It's just
No,
not.
absolutely. No, it's not. And I appreciate that they've all been uniformed. They all are all at the same, pretty roughly the same size, height wise. So they look great on the shelf
Look good on
together.
the shelf,
That's what
except if you've got that Wings box set, it doesn't. On my shelf, anyway, it doesn't fit. I have to take
Right.
the little multicolored thing off.
Right.
You
Yeah,
had
the suitcase doesn't fit in there either.
no, the suitcase won't fit. Although that's a separate thing. You bought the Wings box set, or you bought the individual box, the individual.
I bought the individuals at that time.
You did, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't know that he had that affirm thing, or else I probably would have done that because I could have made.
You could have financed that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
So, but whatever, you live and learn. But
Sits
yeah,
nicely. Sits nicely on the shelf.
the magnet thing I think is kind of cool.
The magnet
Wasn't
thing is
expecting
great.
that.
I will say, and I don't know if we could say this at the end. We could say it, and I'll say it now. I did think revisiting this album and giving this album this treatment now, I just don't think it was the time for it. I don't
Okay.
think it was ready for it.
All right, well then let's talk about that. Let's get in that first CD because the Flaming Pie album itself was already a good sounding
It sounded
record.
great. It sounded great.
On CD although even though I know on the vinyl, that first vinyl was all
Compressed.
one vinyl, so a lot of it was compressed.
It was.
So the CD I thought was a great sounding CD to begin with.
It certainly was. I agree to that. The CD itself. So I didn't feel, and again, in modern terms, to people now, 23 years ago was a lifetime ago, and it is. But in the scope of Paul McCartney's career, it's not that long, right? 50-year career. So I personally didn't think revisiting this album at 23 years later was really needed. This could have been something 25 years later, or maybe 30 years later, like maybe, something like The Tie In with Linda or something, maybe do it that way. Because this album, this whole thing is really just a homage to Linda, really, on many levels. Is it not?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a lot of Linda, on this.
But it is, I mean, it is. Listen. They have a decision, and I had read online that there were rumors that Back to the Egg in London Town were going to be the next one, but there were legal snafus
Right.
that held it up, so they just pushed Flaming Pie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But it's here. It's here, and it's another wonderful
live
package.
stuff on there. So
Yes.
I mean, to be exact, but
Oh, right,
yeah.
right. We had talked about that a while back, that there was live stuff we weren't sure we can get out. Right.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, the CD again, it sounds good itself. This remastered CD, I think it does sound maybe a touch fuller. I know ever since these sets have been coming out, they've been talking about how the drums and the bass have been a little bit more predominant. They're bringing it up a little bit more. You can hear it a little clearer. But anyways, it's like I said, it's kind of almost like the Abbey Road thing. Abbey Road is sounding great. I don't really know if it needed a remix or
Well, yeah.
what
Well,
we got.
Well, we got a remix. I mean, Abbey Road, that was that one. Like certain songs, you can hear the difference, but it was already great sounding. You get the '09 remasters. I mean, what else do you need, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So getting into the remaster stuff, it all sounded great. I mean, I love the acoustics, the acoustic stuff on this album. That sounded great as well. But again, like you said, Flaming Pie. It's great that he's continuing this one, but maybe we didn't need Flaming Pie at the moment.
No,
Whatever it is.
but it's here, and listen, you knew it was going to be once we got word months ago that it was going to be some 5 CD, 2 DVD thing. We were like,
right.
Whoa, this is going to be, and we knew we said right off the bat. Remember we talked about it on here. We were like, that's got to be the Ubu Jubu stuff, which of course it was. Right. It's nice that we have all that in one location now.
I know, but the annoying thing is, again, want to go back to Flowers in the Dirt, where it's only three CDs and the DVD, then all of a sudden it's, the download. It looked like they were going to go on that route, but I'm glad that they changed their tune on that. However, he still should get that physical CD. I'm still bitter about that.
Oh yeah.
That all the download stuff that we didn't get on an actual CD. But why make such a big stink about how it's only got to be 3 CDs? But now starting with the Red Rose Speedway, I think you got 4 CDs on that. This one you're getting 5 CDs on this. So now all of a sudden it's okay that we get all of this stuff, but then
he's still putting downloads out there.
And how do you feel about that? I mean, do you feel like we should have got those free downloads on this set as well? I mean,
absolutely. That unedited 1986 Beautiful Night needed to be on here as a physical. Yeah. In a physical format, it should have been.
Well, I mean, it kind of is, right? Though with the Ubu Jubu.
That's edited.
That's it. Okay.
That's edited, and it's an edited version, and it's bundled in the Ubu Jubu episode. It's
right.
not.
It should be its own separate track.
Which it is on his website, but it could have went right on, CD2 easily, and now, it could have been. But hey, I think there was so including the download tracks, so that Calico Skies, Beautiful Night.
Then you had Broomstick for instrumental that was available on Rolling Stone, and then you had Some Days Without
the orchestra, right? So I'm just doing a quick scan because I have it. I ripped the entire. Well, actually, I didn't rip anything. You get the download code with the card with the deluxe box. I don't know, Tom, if you did this.
I never have.
Right. So I just bring everything on my phone, which I downloaded the tracks high res. Put them in my iTunes, and now they're in my cloud. So I have everything, including that, and then the downloads that are available. I have a count of 64 tracks. Do you too?
Well, I haven't counted. I mean, you got
so Beautiful Night '86, the instrumental of Broomstick, Some Days Without the Orchestra, and the Calico Skies. That's the extra 4 tracks. So you've got 60 tracks. Yep. Without those downloads. With the downloads, you've got a total of 64 tracks of content.
Guess what? There's plenty of room on those CDs.
Hey, they could have just. I mean, disc 2.
Don't say it yet. We'll get to that part later when we.
There's room.
About our beefs.
11 tracks.
We'll talk about our beefs about the set a little later.
But I got beefs. I got beefs.
So do I.
I got beefs. I got a lot of love, but I got a lot of beefs too.
Mad love, but the
more love or more beefs for you?
More love, but the beefs are more annoying to me than actual hatred. You know what I mean? It's more annoying. It's a consistent thing with this set, with these bonus discs where you get 30, 35, 40 minutes, and you got all this extra space still. Disc 2 and 3 on the Flowers in the Dirt could have been on one freaking disc.
CD. They really could have been. They could have been.
I would have loved it if. Okay, so disc 2 and disc 3 of Flowers in the Dirt. Okay, I would have loved it if it was all on one disc. Tommy's Coming Home, demo, and then the studio.
Oh, just pair them up. Demo, studio, the whole way.
Yeah, exactly. 25 fingers, demo, and then studio. You know what I mean? And just go like that. So you don't have to change disc to see the difference. You can just
you can see the evolution. You can see the evolution of the track that way. which is
Right,
kind of
right.
what Lennon's team did with the Imagine thing, which was
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
was talk about something. And I'm not going to try
Well
to
put
compare Lennon
together
to
box
McCartney
set.
here,
It
but
was a yeah.
comprehensive. Has everything in it, and it really wasn't that expensive. I think it was like 40 or 50 bucks.
No, no, but it wasn't as elaborate either.
No,
You didn't get.
didn't.
But here's the thing, though: if that box set was a little bit more, you could have put you could have put the Blu-ray in that box set. You could have put that wonderful book in that box set. Then you're looking
Now
closer
you're up
to
now. If
exactly,
that new Imagine book was in there and
exactly
the
the
new Blu-ray,
Blu-ray.
now
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
upwards of over $100. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting closer to that McCartney price. So okay, so let's get into CD2, which is the home recording.
Supplemental. All right. All right. So just to wrap up disc one,
Yeah.
or even just the album as a whole. Your individual favorite track on the album proper, sequenced. 14 tracks.
Yeah,
Is
it's
what?
the ballads. Some days, Calico Skies, Heaven on a Sunday, Souvenir, Little Willow, Beautiful Night, Great Day. Those are generally my favorite tracks. The big rockers. Flaming Pie. It's too Lady Madonna-ish for me. Great song. I love the lyrics. The songs we were singing in the world tonight, I still have yet to really warm up
Oh,
to those
really?
songs.
Really?
Yeah, I appreciate them, but I don't think they're some of his best. Young Boy, I think, is great. I love Steve Miller's guitar on that. I mean, perfect. If You Wanna has always been a song that I never really cared for until I popped this in and remembered Steve Miller's great guitar playing throughout that song. So I have a higher appreciation for If You Wanna again. Used to be bad. Is okay. It's good. I like that it's a duet between him and Steve
Hmm.
Miller. And then Really Love You, I think, is still the clunker on this album.
I
You
tend
know,
to. I largely agree with your assessment there. Where McCartney.
Deathland,
Yeah.
Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, and that's what you come up
I
with.
know. It's like, that could have been a beast.
I know
That
it's
could have been a beast. That
improv,
did not to be on the album. I
right?
think where McCartney shines well on this are the tracks you mentioned. And that's top tier McCartney. Some Days, Young Boy, Calico Skies, Souvenir, Little Willow, Beautiful Night, Great Day. That's classic. That's Beatles
It's
McCartney level.
class. It's vintage McCartney,
That's
and
vintage McCartney. The other
right,
tracks are just not. They don't do it for me. The Steve Miller tracks do not do it for me on this album. I
really.
cannot stand them.
Mm,
If this album was 11 tracks, and it see that's I have such a I don't listen. I don't hate anything Paul McCartney does, but
mm. Isn't it like
it's
a 50-minute? It's like about a 50, 55-minute record.
yeah. If it was 11 tracks, it would be even better than what it already is. But I gotta say, since I've had the album, what if I hear If You Wanna, skip. Used to Be
Mhm.
Bad, skip. Really Love You, skip. I just they don't do it for me. But
Yeah.
the other tracks are so good.
And it's
You know?
funny you mentioned the skip thing because there's a new game too that I want to present to you. It's called Skip or Play, where
Oh, okay.
we'll take an album and we'll decide whether or not we skip
Oh,
it
I
or
like that game.
yeah.
I like that game. But yeah, no, it's. I think my individual favorite song on the album it's got to be "Beautiful Night" for me.
Beautiful Night. It is a classic. It's vintage McCartney. It's a top. I don't know, maybe 25 or top
Oh,
50. I mean, he's got so many classic songs. But yeah, it's definitely the top tier, the best of the best. I'm so glad. I'm so grateful that he brought that back.
oh,
To finish it. There's the differences we'll talk about in the home recordings that we'll talk about in a minute.
hmm,
But I'm so grateful that he brought that song back.
absolutely, absolutely. So disc two, home
All right,
recordings.
home recordings. This too. Okay, so it's not the best sounding CD. I know some people have said that it doesn't sound good, but there's a reason why it doesn't sound good. They're from cassettes.
That's fine for me. Sonically, I don't need demos to be crystal clear. You like hearing them. I like hearing them in that original
Right.
state. I like how he retained the vocal phrasing on the song we were singing on the demo,
Okay.
which made its way into the finished version too. Kind of all
Right.
that vocal phrasing in it that he kind of keeps the song together with.
And it goes into a completely different song
Wholly different
twice.
song with a whole different verse.
Right.
That was an eye opener.
It was, and that was so cool. I had a little bit of a better appreciation for that song, and I kind of almost wish that, that he had done something like
That
that.
way. Yeah, no, that was a real eye opener. That's what you like. Discovering
Right.
stuff like that is what you live for if you're, like us, getting stuff like that.
The World Tonight, lyrics were still not all there.
They
I
were
like how
reversed. Yeah, yeah.
reversed. I see the future. I can see the
See the
world
work
tonight.
tonight. Yeah, and even on the rough demo later, he was still singing it that way.
Right, and then he had a whole nother set of lyrics too. With I saw you sitting in the center of an earthquake.
Yes.
Which I thought was kind of interesting as well too. So I mean, if this stuff is bootlegged, I've never heard it before. So all of this stuff is completely new to me.
Yeah, new to me too. New to me too. I don't know, and again, I know you're not a big bootleg guy. I am. I've never seen this stuff reported anywhere before, on any kind of collection or not even read about in 8 Arms. Because as you went on later, this stuff it wasn't really getting out anywhere, really.
Right. And the other cool thing about these songs that in their demo form is how realized they are, how close to the finished
version they are. Many of them are.
Right. You already had the idea of how these songs were going to go, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, they're very, very finished. And if there's one thing I can say about McCartney demos, that they're so finished that they're almost like there's not a lot of magic to them. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but like,
right.
You hear a different lyric or a different verse. That's pretty cool, but they're so close to the original that there's nothing really earth shattering for me. And what I like listening to, I like hearing rough mixes of the songs. That's why I personally like disc 3 better than disc 2 in this set, because you're hearing it in a more rougher state, especially when he's with a band and stuff. You get to hear things a little different. Demos at a guitar, whatever. I personally get tired of those a little easily.
Right. So the evolution for this album there wasn't really a lot of evolution for. I mean, he already knew kind of what he was looking for, except for the lyrics. I mean, the biggest thing I think for me were the lyrics. How a lot of these are still missing verses. Like another highlight for me was Calico Skies, where it's missing the second verse. So he does the first verse, third verse, and then goes back to the first again. So the verse that is missing, the second one, always looking for ways to love you, never failing to fight, at your side. So either version, I think, from second or third had that verse in it. So, but then again, Young Boy, in the demos, it's Poor Boy. Which he talks about a lot.
Yes, he does.
Especially in the World Tonight and then all these EBKs that we'll be talking about as well. So and the other one too that is really nice is Souvenir, which is a song that I absolutely love, and he talks about this in the book as well, about how this is the demo of the song where he wanted to keep it. He was almost ready to just keep it this way. The phone's ringing, he ignores the phone.
Yeah, that startled me. That really startled me when I was listening to it. I'm like, what? Oh, it's the record, it's the CD. Oh.
Right. So this might be my favorite part of the of that CD is hearing that phone ring. You can lightly hear the rain going in the background, especially if you're listening to it on headphones. Little Willow, that's another one that I really love. There's missing lyrics. The lyrics grow to the heavens now and forever, always came too soon. That wasn't there at this point in time.
Just back to Souvenir real quick. Like an observation that one of our viewers and a good friend of mine, he said when we were talking about it when it came out. He said, "You know what? Souvenir is like a modern version of Call Me Back Again."
Interesting.
Yeah, and I could dig what he was saying. It's like a newer version of that, but better. And Souvenirs, the demo, the finished version, that's just, again, fantastic song. Jeff Lynne on that one too? Right. Yeah. Jeff Lynne.
He's co-producer on that one. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Beautiful Night, the lyrics again, it's funny, like, I don't need a rowboat, I don't need a wood.
Little boaty,
So
a little bit
yeah,
boaty.
yeah. So we got rid of that. That's fine. And Great Day is, the guitar picking on that. It's lovely. I love the fact that it's, again, he's bringing back a song from the past that he's never, recorded before, or that we don't know of. So as far as this is the first time that he actually, recorded the song in a studio. And then you get an Easter egg at the end of this song,
Yes.
and it's just more, guitar picking.
It's just the end, more Great Day stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So good stuff. So yeah, so all in all, this too is fine. It doesn't sound good, but like you said, it's because it's from cassette. There's a lot of hiss that you'll hear.
Yeah, a lot of hiss, and again, I think purists won't mind that. We want to hear. We're not looking for audiophile quality here on these demos. We know what they are. I mean, aside from the 1995 demo of Beautiful Night, which obviously, to no surprise, I think is the best track on that disc. They're all kind of pretty much rough recordings.
Right. So going into then now disc 3, this is in the studio.
In the studio.
Again, we have 10 tracks here. A couple things that stick out for me. The Great Day, you hear, lap clamping and some shoe tapping, and that one, which you don't hear in the finished product. I think that's Linda doing that. Calico Skies, still, again, no second verse there. Something new that I've never heard before that wasn't really finished. Come Down, Come On, Baby.
That was just a little throwaway thing, though.
Yeah. It's funny though to hear the chatter in there. It's really cool that how Linda, had said she loves it. So
yeah,
I love the chatter. That's one of my favorite things about these studio outtakes. Is,
right. The chatter, and I think that's why I think the studio outtakes have a little more going on in them that are a little more interesting,
right?
Audio wise, listen to them just a home demo with a guitar. That's just me.
Yeah, and then Beautiful Night, which is I think we already heard from the EP that was digital EP that became.
That was the run through with Ringo, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. World Tonight, still singing I Can See the Future First.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I Can See the Future First.
I Can See the World Tonight. Yeah. Yeah. I like then the rough version of Little Willow on this is tremendous.
Oh yes. Yeah, and then then we get the early version of a song called Whole Life, which he did with Dave Stewart. This is recorded in '95, I believe. It's just McCartney and Dave Stewart that's doing this song. However, the song was then later released. I believe it was 2003 or 2005, and let's see here, and this was that was with band too. That was with Rusty, Abe.
Right, those guys with his current band.
Guys. And it was for let me find it here. So excuse me 1 second.
No, but that's a song that I was not too familiar with. I had heard it in
really?
So I actually had not heard it straight through until until this set, and I quite liked it. I could dig it. I thought it was a Linda track. I did.
Okay. Oh, really?
I did, but then I thought for some reason it was connected to Wide Prairie, but it wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, so the track was recorded with Dave Stewart, and then another alternate version was later released on the Charity album 1 year on 4/6/6/4. Now, if you want to learn more about that, you can. It is in the Luca Perazzi book.
Oh, it's in Luca's book. Okay.
Yeah, it is Luca's book.
Luca, we like Luca. Luca's a good egg.
Yeah, Luca's a good guy. Luca's a good guy. So this is a little slower.
Yeah,
it's not as hard and fast as the later version is. So, but definitely recommend checking out the later version. You can hear that on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Heaven on a Sunday. This is really funky. I mean, it sounds like he's got a different version. It sounds like a drum machine, some cool sounding.
I think it's one of the best outtakes on the whole set. That Heaven on a Sunday cassette demo, a rude cassette demo, it might be one of the best outtakes of the whole set.
and then towards the end, you get this really heavy bass, like he's trying to be, a hip hop artist, which is fascinating. I think it's cool. I think it's
I
really
think it's
cool.
cool
Yeah.
too. And having digested this whole thing, and I kind of knew this beforehand, but now watching everything and reading everything, it's clear that that's the song. That was Linda's last contribution to anything he really did. So that song obviously holds a special place to him because
Right.
she was on it and stuff. So
Oh yeah.
it's not. I mean, I know she's on the whole album, but I mean, that track in particular seems to be done towards the end, and it's
Right.
on that level. It's really special, and that demo is awesome. All kinds of stuff going on in that one. It's
Oh,
the way it
absolutely.
starts and everything.
Yep. And then there's another little Easter egg at the end of that song, and that's Paul and Ringo on the piano doing "Beautiful Night," and then Paul goes into "You're a Bastard."
You're a bastard bit from
You're
that
a
we saw
Bastard bit,
original
yeah.
first time on the In the World Tonight documentary, which is cool.
Right. Exactly. So yeah. All in all, again,
Solid disc.
solid disc.
In my
But
opinion,
short.
better short, way too short, but
Right.
studio outtakes in my opinion I like much more than home recordings, and for me disc 3 is the go-to so far.
Yeah, so far, and definitely if you don't have the box set, this is definitely one that I would recommend listening to. One of the first discs. I mean, that having on a Sunday is fantastic. It was a great addition to this disc. So let's move on to disc 4.
Disc 4,
which is
Flaming Pies.
Pies.
I know you were looking forward to this one.
Look, so this is B-sides. This is Ubu Jubu, and this is a track that there's also a track on here that Paul must have been proud of being a part of, because if he wasn't, why add this to the set? When I'm talking about the Ballad of Skeletons. Now he did this song with Allen Ginsberg, during this time. I think it was '95. So he must have been proud of this song. He's part of I think he is a co-writer on this, but more music than I think lyrics, because I think Allen already
Allen Ginsberg already had everything written.
Right. It was a poem, and Allen he asked Paul if he knew of somebody that would like to play guitar while he did this and other stuff, I guess, at the Royal Albert Hall. And then Paul said, well, why don't you give me an opportunity to do it? And so that, obviously flourished. That became a four-song EP or single, if you will. So there's 4 different versions of this as well, which you can buy. I mean, I got it over here. I should have had it over here to show people. But, for me,
just looking at the book, so it was a live performance, and they actually went in and recorded an official version of it.
Yeah, with Philip Glass is a part of that as well. So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. They talk a little bit about it in the book, and then also to return the favor, Allen recommended a poet to help Paul with the Standing Stone poem, which as we know was the basis of the orchestration bit, so Paul wrote the poem so he could have a better feel of how the music was going to flow. So whatever. I mean, it's a crazy collaboration. I know the song's not for everybody. I know it's a hard look at a lot of people, at yourself with words like, said the macho skeleton, put women in their place, said the homophobe skeleton don't gay suck. I mean, it's, there's some rough things there that, I mean.
And if I'm being brutally honest, and those of you that have heard this, and Tom knows, I was no fan of this song. Mm-hmm. I'm still really not, but I have to say, listening to it last night, I was cranking it. Musically, it's fantastic. Yes. I'll change my tune on that. Musically, you got Paul rocking out on guitar on it. The lyrics, I could take or leave the lyrics. I don't even know what he's saying half the time. It's just babble. Okay, yeah. But musically, it's tight, and that's what I enjoy with it. I could hear in and out. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. But musically, it's a great piece of music.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And it's definitely, a piece that's gonna slap you in the face, lyric wise. So it's like I said, it's not for everybody, but
Not for everybody,
I do
but
recommend everybody checking it out
I
for
think
your own opinion.
given the status of these two individuals, Allen Ginsberg and Paul McCartney, that's if you're into it at all. I mean, you should listen to it just for historical purposes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So then we get into the B-sides, which were on maybe not the best B-sides in Paul's wonderful, 50
And he's got
years.
awesome B-sides, as we've covered on Two Legs.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we did talk about these songs on our last episode, the non-album B-sides of the '90s. But let's just go, kicking off, "Looking for You," which was the B-side for Young Boy. This was another, improv, if you will, with Jeff and Ringo. And man, I don't think it's any better than "Really Love You." No. No, not at all. If you like it, great. But
Next.
again, Jeff Lynne, Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney. This is what you come up with. No, sorry. I'm
Next.
getting better now.
Getting much better. Yes.
Yes, Broomstick, which was the B-side for Young Boy on the CD single. Now this I really enjoy. It's got a lot of acoustic guitars throughout. I like the lyrics from this. I like that it's another collaboration with Steve Miller. I like the one of the best parts for me is the ending when you hear all the bubbling going on, like you're in like a wizard's lab or something like that.
This is a case, in my opinion, where Broomstick could have replaced one of those other Steve Miller collaborations on the album. For me.
Gotcha.
Take Used to Be Bad out and throw this on, makes the album even stronger, in my opinion.
Not a bad thought there. Again, now we got the next track is "Love Come Tumbling Down."
We got a pair of '80s outtakes. Yeah. Now I think the thought process behind these and slapping them on here is because it all kind of originates with that Beautiful Night era, right? Beautiful Night from '86.
Well, you got the McCartney Phil Ramone sessions from
right. Then these tracks
throwing Dave Foster as well.
Right, and these tracks originate all from them. So he probably went back revisiting that, saying, "Okay, I did Beautiful Night then. Well, what else did I do then? Oh, I did Love Come Tumbling Down. I did Same Love, and unearthed them too, and then they're served as B-sides. And Love Come Tumbling Down. That's one of my all-time favorite B-sides.
Yeah, I think it's a great track. Great lyrically and a great production. I think a lot of these tracks too. I think we're as my video just went away.
Oh, we lost your there. You're back.
Yeah. It is. Oh, come on.
I thought you were going to get more bandwidth.
That's in the process. Anyways, so actually, so getting back to Love Come Tumbling Down. Yeah. With the sessions, I think that he had so much material out there that maybe one could have potentially been on a later edition of Cold Cuts, which was proposed that he did do with Chris Thomas. He got a lot of songs ready, but then it ended up becoming All the Best instead. But it's like, what do you do with all these songs? You're almost in the George Harrison camp with you have all these songs and you got to get them out.
Yeah, well, we know Paul had just a few more than George.
Well, of course, but at the end of '69, early '70, George has had all of these songs.
Yeah, you got to get them out. I get it.
Get them out. So
I'm glad that he found a home for these tracks because I mean, Love Come Tumbling Down and the next track, Same Love.
Yeah, Same Love. Now recorded in June of '88, and this has this wonderful piano opening from Nicky Hopkins, which the late great Nicky he worked with all four of them, which. There's not a lot of people out there.
Not a lot of people did that, and noted session player for the Stones as well.
Yeah, and Kinks. I think him and Eric Clapton might be the only two people. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody else knows that out there listening, what the answer? If there's any others besides Nicky and Eric Clapton.
Billy Preston. Billy Preston.
Oh, Billy Harrison never was on a McCartney record.
Oh, you mean on a McCartney record? I'm thinking Beatles.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
talking about solo wise. So
Solo
Nicky
wise,
Hopkins
yeah.
performed on all four
Yeah,
solos.
there's not too many.
Not too
Uh,
many can say that.
not Jim Keltner. He didn't use Jim Keltner, right? No, he didn't.
No,
Yeah, he
no,
never
never
used
used
Keltner.
Keltner. He never used the Vorman on his record, although McCartney did perform on Foreman's record that he did.
True. True. Well, and those two got very close again. Not too long ago, which was nice to see.
Right, right.
No,
So,
same love. Awesome track, a killer vocal, especially.
why couldn't that have been on Flowers? Get rid of. I know more. I know he loved Motor or Love, from my understanding. But man, that song goes on too long, and you could have, or Don't Be Careless, Love, which is like one of the least works of the Costello.
Yeah, that one
McCartney
could have got junked for Same Love.
Same Love, and then you just toss it and you don't do anything with it for 9 years, and then you end up using it as a B-side.
Listen,
God.
he put it out there. We're talking about it, so
it's true. But this is, in my opinion, this is up there, man. This
I don't disagree.
Level.
I don't disagree. Same
great.
Love. You've got like we've talked about. We love Beautiful Night.
Yeah.
Same Love's right there too.
I think so. I think so. Then going back onto the same disc now, it starts going into Ubu Jubu, which we know was on those 6 CD singles, 2 versions of Young Boy, 2 versions of The World Tonight, 2 versions of Beautiful Night. And they're cut, so they're not the full-length versions of those versions. So if you still have those CD singles, hang on to them, because that's where you're going to get that full length
of
version
the episode. Yeah.
So I would imagine they cut those to make room on the CD for all the B-sides, and then now these 6 Ubu Jubus. Now we're gonna hopefully get to an Ubu Jubu show here soon in the future. What the 6 songs that you get I think are really cool for the most part. I mean, there's a couple that I don't really care for, but for the most part, I mean, they're really good. Like the first one you got, I Love This House, which I think is a really good song with David Gilmour guitar part throughout. I think that's a great song that didn't get used. On the second disc, or on the second track, you get Atlantic Ocean, which is one I don't care for.
No, that one.
A lot of this stuff too can be heard on the the Return to Pepperland bootleg.
Bootleg, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. Then you get Squid, which I think is okay. It's interesting. Maybe McCartney 2-ish in a way. But
Sam, I like Sam. I like Squid. I know you like Squid, Sam. I do too.
Right. Okay, gotcha. But I think this is a little too long. I mean, I think it clocks in over 5 minutes.
Oh, I think I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I think it's fantastic.
The one that I think is again okay is Don't Break the Promise. This is a leftover McCartney Stewart collaboration. It's
special.
Got that reggae feel that Paul loves. I've never been a big reggae fan myself, but Stewart did release this on a 10cc LP called Meanwhile in '92. So if you want to hear that version, I'm sure you can just go on YouTube and check that out. Then you get Beautiful Night from '86, which again, it's a little realized that it's a little bit to what we ended with, but changing some lyrics around, bringing the orchestra, which I think was a nice touch, bringing in George Martin to help out with that.
Absolutely.
And then on the sixth one you got Love Mix, which is a very poppy song.
That's a great song. And again, these tracks, as Tom's mentioning, like I just wish, like them or hate them, should have been individually available to listen to them. I hate that they're bunched in the Ubu Jubu episodes. I just even back when the CD singles, when I got them 20 years ago plus, I'm like, oh, I wish it was just its own thing, Right. But hey, that's what the boots are for. So.
Right. Yeah. So this Love Mix, I think, if the proper attention was paid to this track, I think it could have been a great.
I think, and it actually goes all the way back to like 1974. Love Mix. It goes and Waiting for the World to Shine, the sun to shine. It goes back that far. Gotcha.
Right. Great. So that's it for Flaming Pies disc. That's disc
Disc,
4.
yeah, that's disc 4 as a wrap, and then we go on to CD5, Flaming Pie at the Mill.
At the Mill. So this is his tour of Hog Hill Mill, which he must be very proud of because he just sounds so giddy.
Oh my God!
Throughout this whole thing, which was a radio special.
Yeah, and if you've watched any of the Flaming Pie material that's out there, documentary or listened to this stuff, you've probably heard about half of this stuff already.
Yeah, exactly. This was a lot of this that's on this disc was featured in Ubu Jubu stuff.
It was in Ubu Jubu. It was on the World Tonight documentary.
Yeah,
of him kind of going around talking about the Mellotron and the synthesizers and the Moog.
Right.
And playing and having fun playing with that and doing all the different voices, which is hysterical.
The Mellotron one was a lot of fun because he had like the cabaret thing going, like
right, which is hysterical.
Yeah, come on back to my flats.
Right, which was really cool that he's doing like that. And he's going back and forth between what the sounds are, and I like how like he says like they're so old and like they look like they came out of the war, right? They're just gray and old.
Exactly. And some of that stuff was the actual stuff they used. Some of it came from EMI. I guess he got a phone call from him and say, "Hey, I was told to throw this stuff away. Do you want this stuff?" And Paul said,
or he called and said, "Hey, I'm Paul McCartney. I'll take that from you. Thank you very much." And they were like, "Okay."
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Highlights from this. Obviously, he talks about his Joanna, which is his piano.
Oh, the one that he does a little Beautiful Night on.
Yeah, he does a little bit of Beautiful Night. Then you get the Bill Black bass, which Linda bought him for his birthday. Which obviously that's the Elvis Presley bass that you see a lot of. In his songs, the Spinette, which I thought was really cool because that was used on the track Because.
That was cool hearing that.
Yeah,
hearing him talking about it. He was talking about it like there was like as if nobody knew what it was.
Right.
That
came.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came from EMI as well, and then obviously you got the bells too, which also came from EMI, which they used for Penny Lane.
The firemen rushing in, ding 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 ding.
Yeah, exactly. The story about the toilet paper was hilarious.
Oh, and how it said EMI on this toilet paper.
Right.
Once we got a little famous, we asked Sir Joe Lockwood if we could have some softer toilet paper.
Toilet paper, because you got brown toilet paper with the EMI logo, on it.
Yeah.
Which was pretty funny.
Well, I mean, the EMI in those days, it was like a lab. It was like a factory. It was like a science lab. Guys in white coats.
Coats. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Then they go into the control room, which again he must be really proud of because just the sound in his voice. He just sounds so giddy that he's talking about all of this stuff. I mean, he goes into the computer that he's recording Standing Stone on.
Yeah.
Which was cool. He's got the 4-track that they recorded Sgt. Pepper on. They talk about that for a little bit. That's really exciting. And it's funny because he's talking about that. He's talking all the stuff in the control room, and then he talks about how Lenny Kravitz,
Kravitz.
instead of Kravitz.
Oh, he called me Paul McCartney. Lenny Kravitz? Kravitz.
Yeah, Kravitz.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you get a little of that if you watch the documentary. You've seen that, but this CD, this At the Mill, kind of gives you a nice. The last track, I forget what it's titled. It's like 23 minutes.
Yeah, that's the control room.
That's that one. But the whole disc is probably about 40 minutes.
No, it's an hour.
Oh, it's an hour. So you get an hour of this. So you've heard about half of this on other stuff, but to hear it, I listened to it last night for the first time, just straight through, and it was really entertaining just hearing him go from each thing.
Entertaining. Right. So, and then we should mention that this is recorded with Eddie Plummer.
Eddie Plummer, yep.
Eddie Plummer, sorry, thank you. And then obviously he co-produced the Ubu Jubu stuff with Paul. So that's kind of cool that he's on there as well. So that's the CDs.
That's 5 audio discs.
CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So again, that's another enjoyable CD.
Yeah, it's one that I like quite a bit. I had a feeling when this track listing came out, I said CD5 At the Mill. I said that's got to be him walking around talking about all the instruments, and it was. And that's just, if you've never heard that, I mean, that's just hysterical. And as Tom said, he's like really giddy just talking about all this stuff because hey, he's proud of it because it's that's his legacy. that he now has. So
yeah, exactly. All his little babies, all his Beatle related stuff that he can go to and create great music with.
recreates
So,
the intro on Strawberry
yeah.
Fields.
That's the funny part. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm listening to that and he's going, "Oh, I think that's set to the flutes." Oh, you bet your ass you know it's set to the flutes, and it's always set to the flutes.
Of course it was. And then I like bringing it to a little wing centric and solo. He talks about how some of the Moog synthesizers were. He's like, "Oh, we use these in Wings days," which obviously they did, but it's nice. He doodles around with it. And you can hear that. That's just that. No mistaking that sound is 70s sound,
So I want to go back to the anthology bit where they're talking about Strawberry Fields, and I'm wondering if they I would imagine they filmed it. This had to have been a different clip then, but I wonder if he's using the same thing.
He is, except it's a totally different. So the anthology people, it was a totally different production team. The anthology people came in and he did it for them. And then he actually talks about that, saying he goes, we brought this out when the anthology folks came around, and then he just kind of goes through the Strawberry Fields thing again, for his own production documentary here.
Yeah, exactly. So again, you if you listen to all of Ubu Jubu, you've probably heard a bunch of this, but it's really cool just to hear the whole thing straight through.
Very nice, and it's a nice one. It's on a CD, and if you want to just hear the whole thing. And it's full form. It's there for you. It's a part of the era. It's a part of the Flaming Pie era. Just a lot of this era of Paul. It's kind of like an in between period. Like it's the end of an era, but it's also kind of like a catch-all for a lot of other stuff that he was doing. Like Battle of the Skeletons is on this. Ubu Jubu is on this.
Yeah,
Standing. So he's talking about it. So. A lot of other things go into this package than just the Flaming Pie stuff. Battle of the Skeletons, Standing Stone.
Busy man. Holy was he busy during this time, and then plus dealing with Linda's,
and raising kids. I mean, his kids were growing at that point, but I mean, always busy. So it's you're getting lots, and then we haven't even gotten to the videos yet.
Right. Okay. Well, speaking of videos, let's get right to the videos.
So DVD 1 gives you
DVD 1. You got In the World Tonight, which you obviously you've seen quite a few times. Myself, unfortunately I never bought this one. Whatever.
Watched it on VH1 in 1997. Yeah. It was tremendous.
Okay. Nice. Cool. So. I watched it twice. I think it's pretty good. It's one of his better home video releases. A lot of those live ones, I just you watch it once and then it's on the shelf again. But this is a really busy a video or DVD, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot going on because, like you said a minute ago, I mean, what is he doing? I mean, he's doing the Flaming Pie, Standing Stone, Tropic Island Home. He's just doing so many different
promotion.
That's promotion, exactly. So really some really cool stuff in here. You see him talking with Lewison throughout the
which is very nice to see.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what he's talking about ends up being in the booklet, and it's all these descriptions on each song. So, they recorded him talking, and then they put it into the booklet. I love the love when he's playing acoustic guitar in the woods, kind of like how he did in the anthology. I thought
that's awesome. Just sitting there, and there's a nice story in the book about that, how the Jeff Wanford just met him out in the woods and had a couple cans of beer to talk about the making of this documentary.
Right.
Which is really nice.
Right. So and then when he's doing the woods, and then it switches over to in the studio, which I like too, because then you got like Some Days, Calico Sky, and Great Day, which it starts off with him playing in the woods, and then it transitions to him in the studio, especially working with Linda as well. As Linda's there sitting next to him, and she's adding her vocals, and it's really cool to see Paul in the control room and how he just reacts to these songs as they're playing.
Yeah.
And he's just, and his facial features are hilarious, especially when he's listening to his son James play.
He's doing the whole
exactly.
Yeah. Well, you get a lot of that. You get a lot of that in the World Tonight video too, which is so funny.
Exactly. And then, he
music
talks
video.
about he talks about Little Willow, which I'm kind of surprised. I don't know if I should be surprised or not, but he doesn't really say at that time who the song's
He didn't
for.
say at that time what it was for, only later.
Exactly. Yes. Obviously you got Tropic Island Hum, Standing Stone, and you got bits and parts of the VH1 Town Hall, which I think I did see when that was first on.
But that's only an edited portion of the show.
Exactly. It's not the whole thing, because that was probably an hour special. And
about
then
that.
Disc is, I think, just over an hour.
Yeah, it's a shortened version, which is a shame, because if you didn't tape that, I don't think it's available anywhere to watch. I mean, it's probably on YouTube now, but
yeah, probably.
Because that was a really a nice show, because there was really a lot of nice questions from the audience back in the day, which probably have gone by the wayside. And this edited version of it was a really nice thing that they did, promotion-wise.
But the thing that my biggest complaint about this is there's really no Jeff Lynne. You see him playing acoustic guitar with Paul, but that's basically it. Because usually when he does something with a co-producer or a producer, they'll usually say a few things. Even Nigel, said a few things.
Yeah, but to that point, Steve Miller's not loaded all over this documentary either.
No, true, and that's interesting that you brought that up too, because you figured there would have been more of that too, him going to a studio, but in the book you get a lot of great photos.
Well, let's remember the time. Let's remember the timeline now too. That World Tonight documentary is produced in '97. He was visiting Miller in '95.
In '95, yeah, exactly.
So the time really had passed to kind of recapture that and do it in a film making of the album type thing.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, what the documentary really shines the best on is when, of course, in my opinion, when they work on Beautiful Night and bringing George Martin in and going to Abbey Road. That's the centerpiece of the whole documentary, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's still kind of weird that you don't see, any comments whatsoever from Jeff Lynne throughout.
It should be, because listen, they're on the album, and Miller and Lynne are on this album, and thankfully now with this edition, they are given quite a bit of pages on it. Steve Miller's has quite a few pages of
some great
dedicated
photos
to him, and great photos that, of course, we've never seen before. Mm-hmm. Which, again, these boxes are always just awesome with the photographic content.
Right.
But
exactly.
the Steve Miller stuff, to your point, like in the documentary, we don't really see it too much, but at least it's written about and there's photos of it.
Very true. Very true. So so that's DVD one. That's in the world tonight. So I'm sure a lot of you out there have seen it. So if you don't have this box set, and if you have it, you're not really clamoring for this. For the set, but it's nice that that's there. We probably
it's out there.
But it needed to be with this set. It
Absolutely.
was just pretty much it's that this In the World Tonight is definitely of its time and of that period, so it definitely deserves to be in this box set.
For sure.
DVD 2. That's with all your bonus films.
Bonus film.
Yes, you got all your videos on there. First one, you got Beautiful Night, and then you got a short little making of Beautiful Night, a little documentary.
Shot in Liverpool, by the way. Shot in Liverpool. Yes. Just had to say that. Just had to say that. Right at the library building.
Controversy, he's got a little brief nudity in the video, which is fine. Whatever. Wasn't the first time that Paul's was had some brief nudity. Didn't the Jet promo have a naked woman in it or something like that?
One of the picture sleeves. I don't know if it was America. Some country had a picture of a naked lady on it, which was of course bad.
And then you get the Little Willow video, which
that's
is
sad.
A great addition as well. Yeah, it is. That's sad. I mean, it was written for a sad occasion.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a nice video with the girl and the mom and everything.
Right, and they all look great. Obviously, all of these videos have been released. Since the announcement of this box set, he's been staggering the videos on his YouTube channel.
Yes.
So so we have seen these. Then you
get
the
World Tonight. Which one do you like better?
The World Tonight. I tend to like the black and white.
Yes.
He's out on the road. He's in
London.
Booth and he's singing and he's
the one we're talking about was directed by Jeff Wanfor. the one who
Right, that
produced
wasn't
the
Alistair.
documentary, the
Right.
World Tonight documentary. The other one with the umbrella twirling with Linda, that's
You
with,
know, Alistair, that was Mary's boyfriend at the time. I
at the
don't know if they're
time.
still
Yes.
together or not. But that was it's still obviously he wanted to make these cheaply. He talked about, so what better way than just
Oh, I
be
love that. He
together
just
on
said they
vacation.
just got up. They got up and went out one
Yeah,
night, and they just went out and did the World Tonight with the boombox.
exactly. Which I think is funny because in a couple scenes you see the CD part of it up.
Pop
You
up.
know, yeah,
If you
pop
read
up.
the story in the book, he says how a bunch of kids spotted him and said, "Oh, my grand's got all your records." But they let him be in the
Sure
film.
that made him feel. Yeah, I'm sure that made him feel real good.
And we're talking
Um,
23 years ago now. Come on.
Right, right. And then you get both versions of Flaming Pie. I'm not
Young
sorry, I
boy.
mean Young Boy. I mean Young Boy, which again I think both videos are pretty cool. I kind of like the one where he's standing in front of the TV, and then you got the surfers throughout.
Yes.
I like that one a bit more than the home video, if you will. And then you get these things that are called EPKs. You know what an EPK
The
is?
EPKs.
They're electric press kits.
Yes, they are.
So it's almost kind of like a promotional video. He sends it out and he lets the video do all the promotion for the
Interviews.
yeah, exactly. So they're kind of interesting. They go into specific songs on the record. He'll talk about it, and then have a short clip about the making of it, or in the studio.
Which is what I like. What you're seeing him at the piano or whatever, like doing a little impromptu version of the song. That's cool. That's a nice part of his EPK. Just doing a little brief demo of the song to show everybody, hey, this is what I wrote.
Right. Yeah, he does that for Flaming Pie as well. So a lot of the key tracks on the album, he's doing that for this EPK. So there's two of them. Now you watch one, and then it repeats, but it's just the interview segments, and it's not the behind the scenes segments.
As I had to get clarification from my co-host because I thought I was seeing double. I'm like, wait a minute, is this disc messing up?
We're seeing the same thing. It's just not the whole thing.
All right, because I had texted Tom and I'm like, I said, is this repeating or is this something wrong? He's like, no. He goes, it's different. You're just not hearing the music.
Exactly. So, and then you get a In the World Tonight EPK, which is again just promoting the DVD.
Yes.
So you're just seeing clips throughout the DVD, and then Paul talking about the making of
the film, and then the next one's my favorite one on the whole DVD.
You like this part? This one's really cool. It's
my
the
favorite part.
Album artwork meeting.
Love this one.
Now it's funny because this kind of gives you an idea of how long it generally takes for something like this to happen. Okay, so this meeting that they're showing happens on February 28th of 97. The album comes out in May 5th of 97. So it kind of gives you an idea of how much time they need to put together the artwork for the album, the booklet, because in that video they're just showing the booklet, all the black and white pictures, and then Paul brings out all these other pictures.
Yeah.
And hey, let's add some color to it. So all the flowers and leaves that you see throughout the booklet on the regular CD in here was all suggestions from Paul. So it's just to add some more color, to
it's just nice, Linda's sitting there and giving her 2 cents on what they should maybe what they could do. A really nice moment is when they're talking about the complaining about the CD and how it's so limiting with artwork, and you can't really read anything, and because it was so much better in the vinyl days, and you could just read the text and you could read the lyrics, and here we are now 23 years later, and now we can do that again because vinyl is back. But in 1997, vinyl was about as popular as politics. Let's just put it that way.
Good. Very good. So that's a pretty interesting 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I didn't get the gentleman's name. I'm sure it's in the credits that he's sitting down there with, and they're going over the different designs. Nice to see the different layouts with the potentially and how they came up with the idea for the photo. The cover of the album is just a zoomed in photo of Paul holding up a red guitar, which was really cool to see. Really just zoomed in.
Right. Wasn't one of those the covers of one of the CD singles? The
Yes.
fuller version?
Yeah, I
Was it In
think
the
so.
World Tonight?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as you can see now, that was, I think maybe one of the versions that would have been the album cover, but he ended up just zooming into the face.
Yeah, yeah, and
Which
a
I,
nice design. I mean, and the really interesting discussions on the color patterns and how to keep everything going and the uniform. And I don't know. I kind of think if they had just made the back plain, with no work, with no tracks, kind of how this is,
right.
maybe that would have been a better touch. I don't know.
Mm.
But interesting if you're into the art, because you very seldom see that side of Paul sitting down hashing out how should the artwork be, and to see it in a video context and with Linda, that's pretty special video footage.
Yeah, and it just shows you how involved he is throughout the whole process of making an album.
Oh,
from start to finish.
Literally from start to finish. Now I'm sure other times he kind of lets things go a little bit, maybe more, but he'll have somebody do the artwork for him. But their hands were pretty involved in this one. Again, homespun affair from start to finish.
And then next you go into a bit called TFI Friday, which date-wise it's June 27th, 97. It looks like that was the season finale for that season of TFI Friday. It was a show that started, it was kind of a music show, kind of like Top of the Pops. If you
Yeah,
know,
of its day.
And, yeah. Acts of the day coming in and performing their songs. It was kind of cool because, excuse me, he had TVs in the background with him playing different instruments, kind of like, coming up, a little bit. So, that was kind of cool in a way. He performs Flaming Pie and Young Boy for what we have here. Doing some research, it also looked like he did Live and Let Die as well, but that's not here. So if you're someone that had seen that in the past, please let us know. So
yeah, let us know. And you know what's disappointing that I thought was going to be included in this because they included that was the appearance on Oprah from October of '97.
Yes. Well, you figure that they were, if they're still friends, that could have happened. But I mean, I'm sure there's some copyright issues or
maybe. But I mean, that was a big deal. Him going on Oprah, and then the same thing with the videos. He performed on Oprah with the screen
he premiered, and I think that's where Little Willow premiered.
Little Willow premiered on Oprah, and that's a really good interview too. And I'm really surprised. Again, probably legal issues, but that would have been nice to have been included on this too. And it's on YouTube, but it's in poor quality. It would have been nice to have a nice cleaned up version of it. But that's that's a pity that one wasn't there. But that's a good one too.
Isn't it a pity?
Yeah.
And even if it was like a 10-minute clip or whatever, like we got here with the David Frost interview. Again, that's it's just under 10 minutes, like 9 minutes and 47 seconds of the part of the interview. I think that was another hour-long interview. I think that was also recorded at Hog Hill. Or no, I'm sorry, that was recorded at MPL offices in London.
Yeah.
So that's where that was recorded. Most of it deals with Linda, how they met.
How they met at the Bag of Nails. And, yeah,
exactly. And then some other stuff towards the end. But I don't know about you. I've never been a big David Frost fan. He just seems a little boring to me. I know he's interviewed Paul a couple times.
I like David Frost.
Really? Yeah.
I do.
Never cared for his interview style. Really. So I don't know.
Paul, he had the Beatles on his show in '68.
Oh, exactly. Hey Jude.
Yeah, so I've always liked it. I've always enjoyed David Frost, and although I think I like Michael Parkinson better.
Yes, I like his appearances on Parkinson's show much better.
Yeah, they're a little more engaging.
Yeah, a little more live.
David Frost can be a little dry.
So that's what you get. That's the 5 CDs. That's the 2 DVDs. So all in all, not a bad set. Not a bad set at all. You're getting more video because again, in the past the DVDs have been light as well.
Yeah.
A couple videos, a couple interviews here and there. That's it.
I enjoy this set. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it where it excels is in the supplemental material department.
Right.
In the book, I mean, I think I enjoy the book more than the audio
Right.
as a whole.
Hmm.
Reading these stories about the trips, read the photographs. Also, too, in the book, you're getting a lot for the first time, a level of research, I think, that has not really been on any of these sets. The footnotes in the book are like, I think, up to like 70 something footnotes. So
Right.
within the story, you're getting context on the side. So you're getting a lot of research, and you're getting the flaming pies, right? The recipes
That
from Linda.
recipes, I think there's what 6 different recipes for
Yeah,
pies.
I think this set for me excels much more in the writing and in the written
Right.
part and in the photographs than the audio. The audio is good. It's not going to set the world on fire.
Right.
Yeah,
There's Steve Miller right there. Another photo right
nice
there of
when they
working
visited out
together.
there. I mean, the book is probably the best thing about it. Of course, you get your, and then we went over this in the unboxing. You get your reproduction of the lyrics, and you get the little bit of you
Right.
get the book from John Hamill. Hey, the
Pretty cool
music's great.
photo
That's a nice
right
photo with
there.
the family and out there,
Mhm.
Steve Miller's.
Right.
Uh,
So that's cool. You hear the whole Steve Miller story. Steve Miller is in here. He talks about his memories of they talk about their first encounter, talking about recording My
My
Dark
Dark
Hour.
Hour,
And they both
right
have
after the
different
big fight.
memories, and it's cool because they have different memories of that occasion.
Yeah,
Paul goes says he went in there and he had some frustrations, and he said like the first 10 minutes he just let it rip, talking about his frustrations. Miller has no recollection of that, which was kind of
no.
interesting.
Oh,
Uh,
I meant to talk about this just real too with the DVDs and
yeah,
one of the EPKs. I don't know if you picked up on this. A couple times he was talking about how so happy how Flaming Pie was doing in
mhm.
America and how it was.
Yeah, it was debuted at number 2.
He says, "Oh, it's my best selling album in America since the Beatles." What?
Well, highest
No, it's
charting,
not.
highest. It was the highest debut charting in America. He debuted at number 2, which he had never had an album until Egypt Station that
Debut.
debuted
Oh,
that
okay.
high. And so it's just debut.
All right, because I'm
So
listening
it's
to that.
not.
I'm like, well, I'm like,
So
wait a minute.
I did a double take on that too, my friend. I'm like, no, he's had many number 1 albums
Debut. All right, so we're saying to debut in
Yes,
America number
it's
2. Okay,
back.
fair enough. Fair enough. Because I'm like, even wrote it down. I'm like, wait a minute, is that accurate? No, it can't be. Yeah.
Exactly.
Um,
And then you get the photos of Jeff Lynne,
and that's
which
from the
again,
original the
you
CD
know,
booklet too. I mean,
yeah, which to listen to Paul talk about that initial, okay, this is what's going to happen. You're going to come in. We're only going to do 2 weeks. Jeff Lynne suggested a month. He goes, no, we're just going to do 2 weeks. We're going to give ourselves a limited amount of time to do these songs, and it's not going to be a Jeff Lynne production.
right.
This is
But even
how it's
the meeting about Lynn, I learned about in the footnotes. If you look on this, how and I don't know who did the research on this. I'll have to look. Actually, they talk about when Paul first met Jeff Lynne, which was for the Stop and Smell the Roses sessions for Ringo,
Ah,
like in
yes,
like
that's
80,
right.
81, which is really like that's the kind of stuff I like to read about. Like that's a great photo.
Yeah, this is really cool. Here's
And
Eddie
there's
and
Eddie Klein, recently passed. Eddie Klein,
yeah, you
um,
got
John, and yeah, we've got Jeff Emmerich
Emmerich, right?
and
So
John
this is
Jacobs
really
all the way
cool.
to the left, who was not John Jacobs. Was an assistant engineer for a lot of the early '80s McCartney albums, Tug of War,
Gotcha. Right,
Pipes of Peace, and then in the book they talk about how he was invited back for this album. That's nice, nice
yeah,
touch to do that.
right. So and you got some more photos here of Paul and Jeff Lynne together. So a lot of great photos in here, like all the books. A lot of really good photos that you never seen before. You got photos of the Beautiful Night shoots. You got another really nice one of Linda here.
With the Heaven on a Sunday lyrics on the other
Yeah,
side.
yeah. And then there's a really cool thing in here. Let me find real quick that it is someplace else, and it's really cool. It's a poem, "Day with George,"
Oh
which
right.
is which is cool, and it's also in the Blackbird Singing
Hmm.
book. If you have that poem's in there as well.
Yeah, and
So
I think the entire, to sum it up, I mean, then don't forget for context, I mean, this whole era really kind of gets kicked off by the Beatles Anthology. That's what spurs Paul creatively to
Right.
go back to his roots. The Beatles Anthology and going and spending
Make a
2
good
years.
album.
Right.
I like how he says, and make a good album. Like that
Make a
shouldn't
good-
be that always be the goal to begin
Shouldn't
with.
that always be
is
the
to make a
goal?
good album.
Well, certainly
Yeah.
coming after your favorite album, I would hope so.
Right.
Christ. You know, so,
Yeah.
but the Beatles Anthology, and he admits this in the liner notes, but it's so evident on everything in this album. Having Jeff Lynne, George Martin, the songwriting, everything harkens back to it's all, the Beatles, and that's why, like the as we said at the beginning of this show, the top tier McCartney stuff on this, in our opinion, is top level. That's like Beatle level McCartney stuff, and he really found, he really touched on something with this album at that time, and the Beatles Anthology was the launch pad for that.
Exactly, and that's fine. I mean, he did this album. He finally embraces his Beatle past, I think, especially in the studio. Doing those old tricks, working with George Martin, working with Ringo. And it showed. I mean, especially with like tracks with Beautiful Night. Like we talked about those tracks earlier. I mean, it shows. Especially in production value as well. It really shows that that Beatles time is on his mind. So it's good stuff. It's a great album.
Yeah, it's a great album. It's great because you can overlook the not so great, and I think that's probably the best way we could probably put it.
Yeah.
The great outweighs the bad.
Great outshot. Thank you very much. Thank you, Merch. Let's talk about a few of the things that kind of irked us a little bit about this set. For me, Red Rose Speedway, it had a Blu-ray of the Mouse. It had a DVD and a Blu-ray, so I understand why we couldn't have a Blu-ray here for In the World Tonight. Whatever. That's just that. It's not that.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have that.
Yeah. No 5.1. I don't think any of these archive boxes have any kind of 5.1 mix on them, like the Beatles and.
Oh, but you're getting the high-res downloads.
Right, that's true. And then even Imagine, I think, had the 5.1 mix on it.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, one of the things that is really annoying to me, and I might have touched on this when we did the unboxing, but it's the card. Okay, it's the archive card. Okay.
Well, you're nitpicking now.
No, this isn't nitpicking though. It says.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Other titles available in the Paul McCartney Archive Collection.
They're not available. I know.
They're not available.
Well,
but it's true. I mean, Band on the Run, McCartney, Ram, McCartney 2. I mean, all the Concord releases. I mean, you can buy them if on eBay and whatnot for.
No, but maybe what they're saying is what other titles available, meaning you can go buy the 1-disc Ram, the 1-disc Band on the Run.
This to me should say that those box sets are all still available, which they're really not.
What do you care? You got them all.
I care for the other fan that doesn't have. I care for fan that's just starting. For the fan that's just starting.
Oh well, they should have bought it when we bought it.
Okay, there, Mr. Sensitive.
Well, listen. I get your point. It is a little misleading to just throw that in there and go, "Oh, these are available," and they're not. It is, but somebody that's quality control oversight is what that is.
Yeah. Okay. But the two things that pissed me off the most about the set is disc 2 and 3, time-wise, 36 minutes, 35 minutes. Okay. I'm sure 100% positive that there's more stuff from those times that could have been added to the set. You got stuff like, you could have gave us a Tropic Island Hum track, so you could have put that in there. You could have given us like the Ubu Jubu theme track, as that would have been nice. Track. Hiroshima Sky is Always Blue, which they recorded at Hog Hill. I mean,
that falls within this era where they could have thrown it on. Though I don't think
exactly.
I don't think
like the Ballad of Skeletons.
I don't think he's putting a Yoko track on his own box set. I don't see it happening.
Perhaps, but he's on it. You know what I mean?
I get it.
He's on it.
I get it.
On it. So stuff like that. And and the free downloads on paulmccartney.com, they're not on here, which I feel like they should be on here as well. So those are just kind of things that just
And let's just tell we didn't buy it, but I think there was one or two tracks that are exclusive to the super deluxe that we're not privy to. I think.
I got to go back and check that.
See if that's true or not, because I think one of them was that Bishopsgate song that he did at the town hall, and that's available as a download if you have the Uber box. Maybe somebody who's watching has that, can confirm and let us know.
Okay. But, yeah, we got to do that for sure. So yeah, those are just the little things that
right. I mean, but you know what? If you've been following this campaign since its inception 10 years ago,
right?
They could always load. You know that going in. You're never going to get a bonus disc that has 80 minutes worth of music. It ain't happening.
But it's been close. I mean, you got the Red Rose Speedway, you got the reconstructed double album on there, and you had tons of B-sides and stuff like that went on there. Venus and Mars is a B-side CD is very plentiful.
Yeah.
So I mean, it has happened.
It has.
Just not on a consistent basis.
No, and maybe it just depends on what's available. I mean, we threw out a few titles that could go on these discs, but maybe. Hey, this is a method to their madness, and if they included all those tracks, we'd be bitching about something else that's not on there.
Yeah. So, if I was to kind of grade this, I probably I'm between a B plus A minus right now for this set.
I'm with you on that, partner. It's not an A plus. I'd call it a solid B plus. Okay. I'd call it a B plus. Where would you rank it? With in comparison to the bigger box sets, the Flowers in the Dirt, the Ram, the Wildlife, the Red. Right. Where would you rank it with that?
Maybe fourth. I'd probably put this behind Ram and Red Rose Speedway for sure. The thing that maybe Tug of War was pretty good. That had a lot for your money too, but the thing about the Flowers in the Dirt set, that demo disc 2, is just so great that elevates that set up into the top 5 for me.
Sure.
But I would say probably this is probably number 3 or 4.
And if you're ranking them all,
behind Ram and Red Rose Speedway for the bam, but the bang for your buck.
Yeah, for sure. I got to think, probably 3 or 4. Well, the Wings Over America is a massive one, too, with a ton of stuff in there.
It's a massive one, but it's all book. It's 4, you get 4 books, then you get the CD, and not to mention Rock Show is not even in that box set. They sold that separately.
That sucked. Rock Show should have been in that.
Rock Show, you should have had the option. You could have got it in the set, or,
right.
You could have got it, and I'm starting to make funny little lines or whatnot. But whatever, we should try to maybe wrap this up here because obviously technology is not in our favor.
No,
today.
Oh no, you're back. Okay. So yeah, Tom gives it a somewhere between a B minus and or B and
B plus A minus.
B plus A minus. I'm in the same camp. I enjoy it for what it is. I enjoy it for more of the bonus stuff and the photographs and the visuals than the actual audio content. The packaging, A plus plus. But the audio out, the output of the audio, average.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's plenty of room for more stuff on there. Whether or not there was more stuff, we don't know. But the quality of what's on there is good. So yeah, I mean, it's another enjoyable one, and I look forward to listening to this more into the future. Obviously, we're going to dig into the book more for information.
That's the best.
Future shows.
Sure, absolutely.
So these just don't collect dust on my shelves.
Me
these box
either.
sets, because I'm always going through them. There's a lot to learn from these sets. So
the massive amounts of information to digest.
What do you want next? What do you want next?
London Town and Back to the Egg. That's it.
I mean, even though there's no rhyme or reason which order they go in there, I do agree. I think they should go back to the 70s and finish off the Wings
finish
era.
that and then wrap it all up with a Broad Street and Press to Play combo.
Right. Yeah. Now, we've talked about on this show how we feel like this is going to be the last big box set is for Flaming Pie. I would love to see this continue for like Run Double Run or Chaos and Driving Rain. I just don't know. I mean,
I don't see it happening.
Will it happen? I don't know, but it would be great if it did. But like we said in the past, we kind of have to. This feeling that it's like the Paul and Linda story, throughout all of these box sets.
And not so much that, and that's what the last two Wings albums are going to be a little bit different because you got different members of the band there, and again, it's going to have the Paul slant and Linda slant, and they wanted to break up because they were tired of. That's always how it's going to be, It's always going to be that Paul and Linda slant, but I think content wise, there's more than enough to get us through. That last two, London Town and Back to the Egg, could be bundled together, and there could be a ton of content on that.
A la the Bread Roast Speedway and
it should be just like that, and I think that logically that's the next one, and then that's it. Until the next one. So we'll see. But hey, Flaming Pie archive is out. I mean, I remember when it came out like yesterday, and here we are talking about it 23 years later.
Right, exactly. Sorry, I'm trying to grab something here. Great look at this. I mean, it was a lot of fun going through this thing. Like I said, I've gone through it over twice. So I wrote down plenty of notes, and looking forward to going over it again.
Be curious. Finally got a chance. Thankfully for that. I'm curious to see, and as we know, once these have been out for 6 months or a year, that you can't seem to buy them anymore, and they just skyrocket in price. What's the market like for this in a year from now? Is it not on Amazon? Is it
exactly?
Is it on Discogs for $500? Who knows?
Right, and that's what we've touched on that before. Okay, so now when these sets sell out and they start going for another $100 on eBay or Discogs or whatnot, McCartney can't pass to see that. Okay, and they're thinking, okay, if they're going to sell for that much money, when we put the next sets out, maybe we could raise the price out again, so we get that extra money.
Right. Or here's a novel concept: reprint, repress what you can.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really surprised Capitol hasn't reissued all of those early Concord.
Right. No, they're gonna give us colored vinyl from now until Kingdom Come. But they really should, though. You're right. To your point, Capitol should be re-releasing these archive sets in their format.
And people are going to think, it's just another cash grab. No, it's just so it's in print. People who haven't gotten them yet now have an opportunity to get them without paying $500 to $1,000.
Absurd prices that these are fetching now, 10 years later.
Great. All right. Well, great. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks for hanging in. Thanks for bearing with me with my power issue, and I wish we could have done this like a week ago, but
that hurricane kind of screwed up the our whole plan here.
Yeah, so we're a little bit late. We're not we didn't get this one as quickly as our other people out there in Beatle world, but hey, it's here.
Yeah. Before we say our goodbyes, I do want to plug a couple things. I did a few shows over the last month. One, there's a really good John Lennon centric podcast out there called Glass Onion on John Lennon, and the gentleman Anthony Rotuno, I hopefully I'm not screwing up his name. He invited me on, and we talked about this book right here, Riding So High: The Beatles and Drugs. It's a fascinating book. It's really interesting to me, Andy. Listen, I'm totally against drugs and whatnot, but it's interesting to me how these four guys from Liverpool functioned and wrote so many great songs while on and doing drugs throughout and alcohol and whatever it was doing throughout their whole career, and how they were able to be the most successful band of all time while experimenting and doing heavy drugs. So read the book. It's by Joe Gooden, and this is the gentleman that does the Beatles Bible website. So
cool
good stuff there. Yeah,
you've been all over the place.
Yeah, Another show I was on is by a new podcast. It's just been out for like a month or two. It's called Plastic EP. This guy's from Australia. He's wild. He's crazy. He's eccentric, and he goes a mile a minute. I don't think he sleeps. Constant energy going on, and that was a little bit of fun. So you can go over to YouTube, and he's got a YouTube channel called Plastic EP Live. So you can check that out there. And you can also check out the Glass Onion on the Glass Onion channel, Glass Onion on John Lennon, so you can check those out. So thank you for doing that. Obviously, Talk More Talk is still going, and we just did a show on Mind Games, which was a lot of fun, so you can go over to our YouTube channel and check that out as well. For us, Two Legs, please check us out on our YouTube channel, Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. If you like what you see, please subscribe to that. We're on, Andy? Podbean, we're on iTunes, or
iHeartRadio, all that.
All that. Spotify maybe in the future. I don't know if we can make that happen.
We'll look into that, sure.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get into that. We'll jump into that boat as well. What else? Email us at twolegspodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Two Legs Podcast. So please like us on Facebook. I do a lot of posts. I try to do posts on Facebook from as much as I can. We're pretty busy people, so I try to hit the social media as much as possible. But other than that, Andy, great seeing you. Look forward to our next episode, which I think I had the cover right here. Maybe I'll show you here. Here we go. Oh man, I got everything everywhere. Sorry. We're going to be talking to Chris Selowitz with the McCartney bio, the definitive biography. So that's coming up soon. We're going to talk to him in a couple days.
Yep.
And look forward to that. He also did this interview right here. This is the
the picture disc from
the picture disc. This is the interview that he conducted for Q Magazine, I believe.
Yeah.
This is on YouTube as well. This was put on YouTube by our friend Adrian Allen. So you can check that out as well. So we'll be asking him questions about that also. So be on the lookout for that. So Andy, anything you want to add?
No, just thanks for the support from everybody. Thanks for the people that comment on our YouTube page.
Absolutely. Yes, we love the comments. Keep them coming.
The YouTube channel's something I manage and we put together here, and we're getting a lot of subscribers on there. I think we're up over 150, so please pass the word on that, because the YouTube is new for Two Legs since I came on board, so we're trying to keep that rocking and rolling, and we like that medium for our shows.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for all the comments. Andy, I can't do this without you, so you're the man.
Likewise, my friend.
Yeah. So again, to everybody out there, have a great day and a beautiful night. So long.
Listening to Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast, hosted by Tom Hunyadi and Andy Nichols, with musical contributions by Dylan